right on, right on, right on. Hey, what's going on? How you doing today? My name's Chris Hawkes, and this is your best life defined. Let's go ahead and do this thing. So, you know what? I used to be, I was a federal government employee. I worked for a Federal Bureau of Prisons. I worked in a prison for 23 and a half years. And let me tell you something about people who work in a prison. People who work in a prison or for the government and in general, but more so in the government, they hate change. Oh, change. Get it. We used to get a new warden about every 2, 3 years. It was kind of the process for the Bureau of Prisons. And I remember, I mean, even everybody be all upset, up in arms about what this new administrator was going to do to the prison and all the changes that were going to come and this and that. But I look back at that and I think, you know what? Change is actually fuel. Change is actually fuel. I look back when Sandy and I started, when we first started this process of transition in our life from a conventional stick home to traveling full time with an RV, right? And when we were sitting back and you start looking at that thing, it was actually energizing and scary at the same time to take and look at your life and realize that in a year you weren't going to have any of this familiarity around you. You weren't going to have the house and all that stuff. Those boxes you've looked at in the garage for like 10 years, same bench, same way. It's always the same. It's all real familiar to you. It was all going to be gone. And because we had built such an amazing story around it, and we'd watched tons of YouTube videos, I think our planning process just to get this ball rolling was like 5 years, right? But that change, that was fuel, that was energy in a way, because what it did was it got us connected with what's possible. It got us motivated by something new and different. And granted, it was scary as hell. There were a lot of tears. It wasn't always unicorns and lollipops. Anytime you make a big life-changing decision, there's a lot of apprehension. It can be scary because it's like, well, what if? But the tragedy in that is that it always seems to work out. No matter where you are, no matter what you face, it just always seems to work out. So I look at change now and I think, okay, I actually embrace it because it fuels us. In fact, we're facing change. In RV life, you face change a lot. We're getting ready to pull out this RV park on May 31st, right? There's some change. We're back out on the road. And not only that, but this time we're heading in a whole new direction to get to Michigan, which is completely above Michigan, coming in the Upper Peninsula. So it's all different. But guess what? It's fuel. Now, what we can do with that is we can get all scared and nervous, and we can start thinking about the what ifs. Oh my gosh, this could go wrong. I could blow a tire. This could happen. Oh my goodness, right? Or we could look at the positive side of that. Oh my God, I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm going to love bragging about this bad boy on Facebook. I'm going to be like, yeah, bam. You think I'm wrong? You think my story is bullshit? You think living your best life is bullshit? What are you doing right now with my feet propped up, sitting there out at one of the Great Lakes, right? Traveling across the country in our big rig. I guess my point in this is, if your life is changing, or if your life needs to change, embrace it. Embrace the idea of not being anywhere near where you are right now. Embrace the idea of not what it can do to your life in a negative point, but what are the positives that come from that? It's the adventure. This is why change is why we climb mountains. Change is why people will grab these amazing goals and they'll go after them and they'll face that struggle. Can you imagine? I mean, for instance, can you imagine the struggle to be an astronaut? Can you imagine the journey, the effort, the number of times that person has doubted themselves? And they just put their armor on and say, oh no, this is great. And they find inspiration in the unpredictable, in the unforeseen, in the new, what's never been done before. Can you imagine? Change is fuel. Change is fuel that adds energy to our life and actually motivates us, because a body in motion stays in motion. If you're moving in a direction, you'll continue to move in that direction until you stop, right? Until another force is acted upon you, especially with people. We can move forward, and you're moving right now. The question is, are you moving forward? Now, when you think about change in the conventional sense, when it comes to the American dream, this is where I kind of get a little bit of angst. Because the American dream is not about change. The American dream is about sameness. The American dream is about predictability. The American dream is about consistency. But what happens to our lives because of it? There are a lot of people in the world. There may be some of you listening to this podcast right now who are 30 years old, 35 years old, and you look at your life for the past 5 years. What significant changes have occurred in your life that have made it better? And let me just define better for you one more time, just because I don't want you to be confused by anything. Better is where the decision that you make in your life, or the direction your life has taken, is giving you access to things that inspire you. In my case, the significant change that happened in our life was that we moved into a fifth wheel. The positive impact it has is that we can spend time any place we want in the continental United States and in Canada. We can see things and experience things that fuel our fire, that give us inspiration, that put fuel in our tank because of this choice. All those boxes of stuff you have stacked up in your garage because they have some intrinsic value to you, how are they impacting your life? What are they doing to give you access to any of the things you love? 80 boxes, is it 80 boxes of crap in your garage and you get to go golfing for free every weekend? Change. Face it. It's fuel. Change. Face it. It provides you with energy. It provides you with the challenge. It turns your life, your struggles into challenges. Look at this here thing. I look at social media and, I used to complain about the phone, right? The phone, it's a tool. And I've kind of stepped away from how I manage my life when it comes to social media and my phone. And actually, I keep thinking, there was a part of me kept saying, well, I got to stay on social media, because if I don't stay on social media, people will not, they won't know who I am. That didn't happen. I show up like I do, about as much as I want to. And that change has actually added fuel to my tank, because it's given me time that I was wasting doing other things that didn't matter, didn't have any positive impact in my life, didn't give me access to anything I want to do. I've turned that energy and that free time into something that does, right? You're amazing. You're already amazing. You already have all of the skills you need to be wherever you want to be. The issue is, are you willing to change something and embrace the positive energy from change to get there? What do you want to do? What thing in 10 years will you want to look back on and say, oh man, I'm glad we did it. I'm glad. I can't believe it. I'm glad. Can you imagine where we'd have been if we'd have done this 10 years sooner? That's the biggest heartache I have with my whole life, is that had I just stepped back 10 years into my marriage to my wife and said, wait a minute, let's change something, because it'll add fuel, it'll add energy. We need to change something to make our life better. We need to start walking in a direction that actually enhances our access to the experience of living, right? That's what I regret. I regret waiting. God, I can't imagine how much more value I would have gotten from those interactions with my dad. All of those moments where Sandy's just trying to have fun with me, and I'm so armored up and so resistant to change that it's just like talking to a rock. And believe me, I'm not proud of that. But I have to share that, because the last thing I want is for you to face that and not change it. It's amazing. I'm not in a rush to get away from the conversation with my wife. I'm not in a rush to get off the phone or off of a video call with my kids. I'm like, hell, relax, enjoy this, embrace this, right? And I'm not afraid of the changes that are coming in my life. Because with every change comes an opportunity. With every change comes the opportunity to take your direction and your motivation down a new path. down something better, to something that challenges you, that wakes you up at night going, okay, how can I figure this out? How can I figure this out? Right now, I'm trying to figure out what to do with my. I took my website down because it wasn't doing anything. I was paying for an asset that wasn't doing anything. It wasn't adding any value to my life. There was no true benefit. Didn't have any real purpose. So guess what? I got rid of it. I'll put it back up. We're going to change something with it so it fits. I'm going to embrace that. And what I did by taking it down. Now we'll come back up with it. And guess what? When we come back up with it, it'll be new and better, and it'll actually serve the purpose I want it to. But sometimes you have to effect change in order for you to revitalize the whole process of living, right? Here you are. When's the last time in the last 30 days that anything significant has changed in your life? And more than that, in the last 30 days, what things in your life have changed that have given you access to more of the things in your life? Life is experiences. See, life isn't stuff. No one cares about your stuff. You do. You think the world cares because you have that big ass house. You think every car that goes by is admiring how great of a job you did. But you know what the deal is here? What you got to realize is when they drive past your house, there's another one right next to it, another one after that, and another one after that, and another one after that, and it goes on and on and on. If you think that what you're doing right now is some amazing feat, granted, it may be more than your parents did, but it's really not that amazing. And more than that, it probably isn't putting fuel in your tank. How motivated are you? How energized are you when you show up at home? How energized are you? How motivated are you when you wake up in the morning and you're sitting there looking at the clock? It's 5:30. You have a tough day ahead of you. How motivated are you? How does it feel? You want to put some fuel in your tank and change something. You want to be enthused about something, be energized about something, add something to your life. And it doesn't have to be a podcast. It doesn't have to be a life-changing, here I'm going to change the world kind of idea. It can be something real simple. Add golf. Change your life so that a golf game is included every month. Maybe 2 golf games. Maybe 18 holes every weekend. Hell, I don't know. There's energy in it. Go back to school. Learn something you haven't learned. Even if you don't go to school, commit yourself to doing something that you want to do, that you want to learn about, and then make that effort to change that about your life. And you'll wake up one day and you'll say, yeah, now I can speak Spanish. Right? Now I know how to do algebra. Right? Now I understand where I came from. I don't know. Life is too short for us to sit on our hands. Life is too short to waste a moment of it not being inspired simply by the fact that no matter where you are one decision away from making some aspect of your life better. And the way that happens is to embrace it, to embrace the idea that you can change it. It's scary and you still can change it. You don't know everything you need to know about it and you can still change it. And eventually it will get better. But it's only when you embrace change. And embracing change adds fuel to your life. Change creates challenges. Change creates uneasiness and anticipation and fear. But change also creates success. And it creates opportunities in our life where we can get that win. We can say, oh man, I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to do it. But thank you guys. Thank you for my family for supporting me while I got my master's degree. I did. It was tough. We had to do a lot of jockeying with our finances and with our schedules, but thank you. You'll be glad you did. You'll be glad you did. And even more than that, you become an example for those around you, for your children and your brothers and sisters and the people who watch you or who are in your life as to what's possible. Life's too short. No matter how old you are, no matter how much time you think you have left, it's not going to be enough. Don't waste a minute of it being afraid of things that you don't know anything about or being afraid of impacting or affecting change in your life because you're not sure of the outcome. Have faith that you have the ability to do it. Go after it, and I guarantee you'll wake up every day of your life excited about something that you're ready to do, that you're trying to do, that you want to do. So I know, guys, I'm just one guy out here making a bunch of noise. I hope you appreciate it. Thank you for sharing. I'm just kind of falling in. This is my boat right now. Thanks for riding along with me. Let's not forget the kindness. And as always, just remember today's your day. Make it a good one.